There is only one question, or rather one word, that repeatedly kept coming into my mind. Why? Why was this remake necessary? Why did the producers give it a green light in spite of its obvious failings? And why exactly would people watch it? So, all in all, I give this film a Y out of 10. Namaste to all of you. Welcome back to my channel, The Anvi Prabhu Show. Before we delve into the story, please make sure you like the video, share the video, also subscribe to my channel and press the notification icon so that you don't miss out on any of my future episodes. So the reviews of the film are as bad as expected. Like, I'm someone who is very optimistic. I try to see the good in everything as much as possible, I guess. But I guess with Snow White, what has happened is, combined with all the wild statements of the lead actors, which had already put off most of us prior to the release, and also given the obvious lack and the failings in the film itself, like nobody's buying it, nobody's watching it. In the very beginning, you're confronted by a socialist utopia of a kingdom and the little girl that is named Snow White because she survived a snowstorm, mind you, not because of her skin. And you wonder why. You see the evil queen and you wonder who made the decision to cast Gal Gadot in that role. Like, literally, why? She's been amazing in some other films and other roles, but here she just, I don't know, she falls flat. She's very robotic. I don't know what she was trying to express with the character and what she was trying to do with it. But anyway, the main question was again, why? You understand that she is just a evil queen who is hoarding everything from the citizens and leaving them with nothing to, I guess, show the evils of capitalism, I assume. And you wonder why. You see Snow White's hair and costume and you wonder why. Like, why would someone deliberately do that? You see the magic mirror talking about the fairest in the land and you realize it's not about the skin color, but rather about the inner quality and the beauty that the mirror is referring to. And you think, okay, that's actually a nice touch, but it still could have been done without the race swap. And you again wonder why was that done. You are then taken to the CGI forest. Now, I'm not going to delve into the actual plot of Snow White because majority of the plot is intact, except in the second half, which we will come to later. And I assume all of you know the plot of Snow White. Moving on, you are then taken to the CGI forest in which Snow White is left alone. You see all the CGI animals and you wonder why. You see the CGI dwarves and you wonder why. You see Snow White teaching them how to cook and clean, but not lending a hand because she is, of course, we've been told, a girl boss who doesn't need to do all that. And you really wonder why. So much for being a good and fair person. Then enter the prince. But only he's not a prince, he's a bandit. He's the head of a group of bandits. So basically in this film, what I found was power in any form is frowned upon here, except when it is like a socialist kind of society. And you wonder why. Then there is some unnecessary elongation of time and you wonder why you're in the theater. The second half is unnecessarily stretched with the subplot of the bandits and then Snow White again meeting them and then returning back to the dwarves, etc., etc., etc. And you truly wonder why. Long story short, the evil queen finally comes to give her the poisoned apple, which is like the crux of the story. And then finally, without going into all the details, which are unnecessary here, because if I do, then you will question me why I had to tell you all of that. The throne is finally snatched from the evil queen, and it's done not because of a fight or a battle, because, violence and power are apparently bad, but mainly because Snow White tells all the people that she's kind and the queen is evil, and she convinces them that she remembers them and their deeds, etc., and all of that jazz. Overall, I felt like there was a lack of soul, there was a lack of feeling in the entire film, mainly because you couldn't really see the development of the main character of Snow White, right? There was no character arc there. Like, you couldn't see what she was and what she morphed into or anything like that. And also because of the lengthy subplot of the bandits and the visualization of CGI dwarves and the animals. Like, as an artist myself, I am all for creative interpretations of classics. I'm all for adaptations and expanding the scope of these classics, but I feel like they should be done with a sense of respect for the original, like a basic sense of respect. Like, for example, in the beginning I mentioned who was the fairest of them all in the kingdom did not refer to just the skin, but rather who was good and fair within, which I thought was a really nice touch. But again, it could have been done without swapping the race of the character. Like, it feels a bit odd when you truly think about it. I also felt like the film was pretty muddled up in its messaging, like it kind of didn't know what it wanted to become. So it was trying to make like this economic statement of like, capitalism is evil and socialism is good and great for everyone. And it's also trying to be this fairy tale by taking off the fairy tale elements of it, like with the unnecessary woke messaging to girls, maybe. Coming to the good parts of the film, I really loved Rachel's singing. And also the acting was okay, I guess, for the most part. And I can't help wonder what an actually beautiful and meaningful film they would have made if they had not touted this as a live action remake of Snow White, but in fact made this into like, like an original story that suited Rachel's talents and it made justice to her. Like if they had actually run with the subplot of the bandits as the main plot, which I assume had been their original intention before all the backlash, and then adding the CGI dwarves. I guess if they had not named it Snow White or made a remake, but rather made an original movie, then who knows, it might have actually been good. And despite the small little saving graces, I think the audience is truly at this point put off by their condescending wokery, which basically feels like you're sitting in a classroom learning how to behave and think rather than watching a movie. And I'm also at this point not really sure who the intended audience for this film is. Is it children or adults or both? But I guess at this point, it's absolutely no one because nobody's watching the film. I truly empathize with all the artists involved, but unfortunately, it doesn't work as they probably intended to or they hope to. And again, when you take classics like this, it takes a lot of honesty and intention to make remakes or interpretations. Just having ideals you pander to and you want people to pander to is not going to work. And it's high time that the entertainment industry learned this, because I feel like there is such a lack of creativity in films especially. It's all just about remakes and the technology rather than the art of filmmaking, the art of acting, and everything that goes with it. I guess maybe at the end of the day, it's a pretty good watch if you're just sitting with your friends drunk and you just want a good laugh without any reason. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the film, if you have watched it, if you're planning to watch it, or if you're not going to watch it at all. Join the conversation. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Until next time, take care.